We are back on track, and we are looking to run it back with Mahomes, Kelsey, Jones, Pacheco, and Bolton. The future is bright, and we are ready to show the world that the Chiefs should be feared each and every week. So join us, the Indiana Chiefs fans, as we worship at the house of Mahomes. With me, three-time podcasting favorite, Chico Noise. And the Chief is running a little bit late, but he'll be on here in just a little bit to give us his perspective of what he got to see this weekend. He was in Kansas City for his tribe's powwow, so I'm not really sure how much of the game he got to see on Sunday.
Yeah.
They were pretty busy doing what they were doing out there. It's an interesting thing that they do. I mean, the powwow and the and all that stuff that they do. It's very I don't know what's the word I want, the tribal stuff that they do, and it's very interesting. So I'm sure he'll have a small take on that for anybody that's interested in the Iowa. I think it's the Iowa tribe out there. It's
Yeah, sounds
in
right.
Kansas, yeah, or Missouri. I'm not even sure where it's exactly at. It's north of Kansas City somewhere.
Somewhere.
Somewhere. So what's been going on, Chico?
Oh, not a whole lot. It's been a busy weekend, busy week. Good to sit down with you on Sunday and mom and watch the game and eat some good food and just hang out for the day. We did some we did some work around the house here, so I wasn't
Did some
expecting to do that work around the house actually.
oh
You showed up and
oh
you're like, I got the goods, let's do it. So
let's get it done. There's no time like the present.
yeah.
Um So what he's getting at is for those that don't know, he records everything in his home studio there. A lot of the like we're doing the Zoom stuff, but he's so far away from his router that his computer lags from time to time. And so as they were recording the call guys on last Thursday night, he had a ton of
Editing.
lag, and it drove him nuts. So what's the best thing to do? And that's run a hard line. So he's got a hard line. What I don't know what we run 120 feet worth of Cat 5 cable,
Oh,
maybe.
I mean, yeah, with the excess we have here in the room, and it had to have been at least 40 to 50 feet over here just to get to the room, if not more. And yeah, so fishing that through there like we were out there fly fishing, trying to
Oh
catch
my.
that cord, and then taking the house apart just to get some good internet down here. And so far, knock on wood, it's working great. We've recorded a couple, oh gosh, 3 or 4 podcasts, I feel like, since then.
I know, right? I mean, good
So
Lord. So the trick is now is you need to come over here and do the ends on my cable I got run. And well, I have to get down the crawl space and actually bring the cable up through, but
yeah.
I need to hard line this other computer too, so I can start using it and see if that'll get rid of my woes too, because I've had some serious woes in lagging. I don't know
Yeah.
that I'm not nearly as far away as you are, but it's still driving me crazy.
Well, if there's one thing I can do, it's put ends on a Cat 5 cable. So if anybody ever needs an end put on, I'll borrow the Emperor's cutters and I'll come over to your house and put an end on for you.
I can't claim those as mine. Those might be the Skywalkers.
Oh, well, hey, borrow the Skywalker's Cat 5 cutters and
There you go.
crimpers. It's actually relatively simple. You just got to know the color coordination to it and
Right.
go from there. But yeah, for first try worked out great. And
Well, it wasn't your first try because remember we ran that line out
yeah,
to the
yeah,
studio from the
yeah,
house, and you did all the ends on that, and it worked great. So I have faith in you that you can get this one done too. So
yeah. Not
just
a problem.
just got
Not
to
a problem.
get it done. And speaking of the Skywalker, anybody who listened to the Golden Image podcast on Tuesday knows that he wasn't able to make it to that recording. I was on I don't know, Snapchat video, or I was on video conference with him last night as he ripped out the floor in his upstairs bathroom because it has leaked and it is a mess. And
Oh,
I've never in my life seen three subfloors
That's fun.
So yeah, he was a little frustrated at that point last night, but I'm sure that he's deep dived into it today as soon as he got home. So hopefully it's going well. I haven't
Just
heard from him.
he can call Skylar if you're listening to this. You can call me. I will come help you do stuff like that.
I probably should have went over today, but I'm getting over just the my back is all messed up and yeah, I did have my doctor's appointment today. Clean bill of health though, you know.
Awesome. That's always good.
Cholesterol's good. My sugar's a little high. My blood pressure's right where it's supposed to be. Go figure that one. As stressed out as I've been over everything coming up in for October.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Stress over here.
Ah,
You know, the Emperor and Mom and Billy and Tina went to Metal Monkey and I went and bought running shoes. And that's been my like I want to run a little bit more in the next couple of years. And I went and bought these shoes so I could run. Of course, I ran yesterday for the first time in forever. And then today it was raining. So I didn't run today. I thought about it and I really thought hard and I was like, you know what? Not worth it in the rain. So I didn't run, but I
Did
had
you
a
just
really
take a leg?
good
Did you just take a leg day then down in the old workout room?
no, it was back day. But
Oh, okay.
um no, I had a really good conversation with CT1209 on, just self health, I guess, like making like feeling good about yourself because he's kind of struggling. They've got a lot of stuff going on. He's moving, and so
Right.
we had a little bit of conversation about that, and hopefully helped him through some of his struggles he's going through. And but yeah, so I wanted to get back to running, and I'm just happy that I
Well,
was
you got
able
a
to do that.
plan. You got a plan to do some running over Thanksgiving down in Indianapolis,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
just our normal morning 5K on Thanksgiving, and then I'm gonna try to run a half marathon next year for Breeze Run. So
Right. Right.
that's the goal, but might just end up being a 5K then too. Who knows?
You just don't know.
Yeah, never know. But
You don't know. I mean, you know, you're going to have that option. So if you can do it, do it. I mean, it's a good cause. So
yeah, I just want to run like Isaiah Pacheco.
nobody runs like Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, that's true.
Pikachu is electric.
Yeah, yeah,
And he showed it again this weekend, man. The guy was on fire this weekend.
he was. Yeah, 12 carries for 70 yards.
Oh my
A
God.
31 long. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, what an amazing day he had. I mean, only 12 carries, but still, um, you know, he wasn't beat out by his quarterback in rushing yards this week. So that's a beautiful thing. But just to
True.
watch him plow through, I always think he's going to get into a fight when he comes up out of the bottom of those
He
piles
shoots up.
because, yeah,
Yeah,
it's like he's pushing people off him because he wants to get up because, yeah, that dude is just amped. He's amped. I love it. It's good to see a good runner back in KC. We haven't really seen a good runner since Jamal Charles. So,
true.
which reminds me, let's get into a little bit of news, shall we?
Uh,
Let's start off with um obviously Chris Jones is back. They worked their deal. We talked about that a couple podcasts ago and you know, basically he's only got the 1 year on this deal, but he's got some incentives, you know. So, I mean, there is that. But they just reworked Patrick Mahomes's fucking
they did.
contract. And it was interesting because we got you and me got a mass text from your buddy Colton, Vanilla Thunder.
Hmm.
And he's like, well, I guess that secures the fact that Jones is not going to come back next year. And so he made another comment in that text about it only being that we went down from 7 years or 8 years down to 3 years.
Yeah,
And I was scratching my head. It's like, no, I don't understand. They wouldn't rework his contract to take him for less years. So I went and then looked around. You know, Mahomes is he now I think he's now the highest paid quarterback in the
I
NFL.
think he's in the top 5. I don't know if he's the
Top
highest
five.
paid. I want to say
I,
Burrow's still number
I
one.
You could be very right. All I know is that the what I looked at was is it averages out to about 52 million a year for Mahomes. I was thinking Burrow was only about 51 or something like that, but I could be completely wrong. I could have just misread that.
Yeah,
Um, but Mahomes is still under contract with Kansas City till 2031. So he's going to be there for the next for the foreseeable future.
it is Mahomes. He took it back over as highest paid NFL quarterback.
And I think that that was what Kansas City wanted. I think that's exactly what they were after. They wanted to make sure that the Super Bowl MVP, the league MVP, was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL because he deserves to be.
Well,
I
and
mean,
I saw an article on, Burrow being the highest paid quarterback and his stats for those first two games. He had like a total of six points, or I can't remember. Like it wasn't even close. Like his yards were terrible. I mean, it was bad. What I read, I can't remember exactly what it was, but no touchdowns, I don't think, and
yeah, how many INTs? Two or
two
three,
I
something
two
like that.
INTs, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was bad.
So it's amazing. It's amazing to me, and I think Phil even talked about this with the Jones deal. It's like these guys want this money, and then they just don't produce after they get their paycheck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Burrow is a prime example. I mean, he's okay. Okay, so listen, we are 2 games into the season. Period.
Hmm.
Cincinnati had a horrible start last year and finished strong. I'm not saying anything, is bad, that the Bengals are done. I would never say that. There's way too much talent on that team to ever say that they're done. But, here we are again in a situation where, you know, a player gets so much money. I mean, overpaid, and here he is not producing. And I know, like I said, we're only 2 games in. I get that, but he is not producing like the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL, or even at that point the highest paid quarterback, because they didn't even make
Right.
the Mahomes deal till what, Monday or Tuesday this week.
Yeah, and I just looked at his stats from this week. He was Joe Burrow. He was 27-41 for 222, two touchdowns, one interception. So I mean, he really didn't have a terrible game this week.
No, that didn't sound too bad, but they did lose, correct?
Uh, yes,
I
twenty-seven
believe that.
twenty-four to Baltimore.
Yeah, well, Lamar Jackson is nobody to overlook. I mean, that
Right.
guy, he's probably got the most rushing yards on that team.
Second most. Second, and overall probably, but he's got second most just this week. He was 24 of 33 for 237, two touchdowns.
He
Once
ran
again,
for, wait a second, he ran for 233
no,
yards.
he ran for 54 yards.
Oh, okay.
Gus Edwards had 62 yards, and that was
Gotcha. But he
so
threw for 233,
237. Yeah.
37. Yeah. Lamar Jackson, he's a good quarterback. He just has a tendency of getting hurt because he does spend a lot of time
I
running the
think he
ball.
might
So,
have actually he might actually be questionable this week too. I don't know that he's I saw it on some I think it was on the fantasy app, but
right on.
I don't know. He might be
Qu-
questionable for the week.
Questionable is never usually that bad of a thing,
No.
if they determine he's out early
Monitoring.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I did read, there are 15 former Chiefs players that are nominees for the 2024 Football Hall of Fame.
Nice.
15. 15. Are you ready for
Wow.
this list real quick?
Hmm.
Quarterback Rich Gannon, running back Jamal Charles, running back Priest Holmes, running back Thomas Jones, fullback Tony Richardson, wide receiver Dante Hall, wide receiver Andre Rison, wide receiver Joe Horn, and guard Brian Waters. Who else we got? Oh, I can't click on that because I took a snapshot. So that's just the time. I didn't want to lose that page, so I took a screenshot. I forgot. Now I'm trying to click on the see more, and I can't see more. Um, this just the front of that list, just your top six there, are unbelievable. Um, Anybody that knows the Chiefs know about Dante Hall and all the great things he did for us
I got a
in
signed
the
jersey on
years.
my wall.
I think you might. I'm a big fan of Joe Horn. He wasn't like the premier wide receiver, but he always was there and he did a good job. Andre Rison, I doubt that he'll go into the Hall of Fame as a Kansas City Chief. I would think he would probably go in as a Falcon because he spent most of his tenure in Atlanta. So, Rich Gannon, Rich was with us for a long time. We let him go. He ended up with the Raiders and took the Raiders to a Super Bowl. Um, a lot of love for Rich Gannon. I was so upset when they let him go. That was I think one of the worst decisions we ever made because we ended up keeping Elvis Gerbach,
Yeah.
and
Robot.
you know how that goes.
But you,
That is history from there.
yeah,
Gannon takes the Raiders,
you
and
mentioned
we
Priest Holmes too, right?
we did mention Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes was one of the great running backs for Kansas City. Um, I do believe we got him from Baltimore. I think he was kind of had shifted down from their RB1 to like an RB3 or something like that, and they kind of put him out, and we picked him up, and he had 2 or 3 really good years, solid years, and then of course he got hurt, um, and it was out for a while, and I was at the game in Indianapolis when he made his return after being injured, and he ended up getting hurt in that game, and that was pretty much it. He said, "Nope, obviously I can't go out and
Done.
perform it like I need to, so I am done playing football." So I got to see Priest Holmes's last game, which has always been really cool for me. We
Nice.
got our asses handed to us in that game by the Colts because that was the Manning Colts and a Brody Croyle Chiefs. Not really the good years for
That was
Kansas
a
City.
13 Chiefs team right there.
Yeah, we got beat up a lot that year, and I got beat up. I got beat up by the Colts fans. They were giving me all kinds of shit because I was wearing my Tony Gonzalez jersey, and they were like, "Hey man, you got a little bit of shit on your shirt there, man. You can wipe that off."
Sounds about right. Sounds like my childhood.
In other NFL news, I don't know if anybody saw it. I actually got to see
Yep.
the actual footage of Nick Chubb's leg injury. Um, yeah, that was not pretty. Did you
Mm.
see the actual footage?
Oh yeah, I watched it a couple times. Sarah was all about trying to find it after it happened because we were watching the game when it happened, and oh yeah, that thing it twisted backwards. You didn't notice it when you're watching it live,
No.
and the moment the crowd saw the replay on TV, you could hear the whole crowd just everybody was like, "Oh!" Like it was loud. Everybody was kind of like, "Oh God." And they would
Yeah.
not show it on TV because it was
No, they
that bad.
wouldn't. Everything that I found right after it happened was just what people were pushing from the actual broadcast. I'm not sure where uh the footage that I saw came from, but yeah, it was right on him as he oh, that just looked nasty.
And it was
It just
completely twisted, turned around, bent halfway over. So
and that's not the first time that he's had that injury.
same leg too.
Yeah, when he was in what I believe he came from Georgia, didn't he?
Georgia. Yep.
Yeah. He pretty much had the exact same injury, just a little differently of how he got it. In the game the other night, he got it stuck underneath of another player as he was going over top and flipped it. But in when he was in college, it looked like he came down on it wrong and got twisted around. Like the cleats got caught in the turf and twisted him a little funny. But
Yep. Yeah, it
oh,
was it was yeah, going back and watching it was nasty, and I'm glad I did not see it in real time because and the craziest part of it was like no reaction on his face immediately after. Obviously, it's probably adrenaline, a little bit of you
right.
don't know what happened. And then one of his teammates comes up to help him up, and he just looks at him and goes, "Nope,
Nope.
don't help me up. I am not. I can't. I literally can't move my leg." So
Yeah. Yeah. Very calmly, just
yeah,
looks up and says, "No, I'm gonna stay right here. You need to go get somebody for me."
yeah.
Yeah, that's a guy that definitely has been through that before and knows how to react. So
And props to the whole crowd there in Pittsburgh for cheering him on as he left on the cart too. I mean, that was
It's interesting because I just was before we started this podcast. I know we were watching some news program and they were talking about a fan in New England
the
that
one that
got into
the one that got
yeah
in a fight. Yeah,
that got into a fight with I'm assuming it was a Dolphins fan. They never really said, and he took a blow to the head and died
yep.
in the
Actually,
stands of
as you're
Gillette.
saying that right now,
Uh-huh.
I have a notification from ESPN about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But okay, so the point of that is that they went through all kinds of they went through all kinds of fights with different stadiums within the last couple weeks, of NFL teams. The best one was like, and here's the worst of the worst. This is Houston fans fighting themselves, and it was just a big tussle between about 8 or 10 Houston fans beating the shit out of each other, and it's just so funny. It does me good to see that in Pittsburgh. It's not. They got to remember that it's all part of the game, and that's what you don't want to see anybody get hurt.
yeah,
I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers go down. I want to see Aaron Rodgers perform and have a good season in New York. I don't want to see Nick Chubb go down because I want Cleveland to do well. You know, it's sad, but it's part of the game, and it's good to see fans actually give two shits about the other team's players when they get hurt.
yeah. Especially Pittsburgh fans.
Are you talking shit about Pittsburgh fans?
Maybe a little bit. Swinging those towels around like they're trying
Hey man,
to rope something.
they're a passionate group out there
They
in
are.
Pittsburgh.
They
I
are.
mean, you got to give it to them. They had such a nice, big, long, successful
They got six
time.
rings.
They have 6 rings, yes. Um, they've had a lot of success out there, and they're just kind of going through some dry spells now that Roethlisberger's gone, and they're trying to figure all that out. I really like this new quarterback. He just needs to get into the groove of what's going on out there. So
Yeah.
hopefully he figures it out. I always like to be competitive. I'm thrilled for Jacksonville, man. Trevor Lawrence has, he spent his years in the trenches getting the shit kicked out of him, and now he's starting to come into his own. I don't know that this week was his best performance. What did he go?
22 for
22 for
41.
41 for 216 yards. Hey, he didn't have any
No touchdowns.
interceptions.
No
He didn't have any
touchdowns.
touchdowns either. Yeah, it's hard to believe that um they held Trevor Lawrence without a touchdown.
Yeah.
What's even harder to believe is Travis Etienne had 12 carries for 40 yards. This guy is a monster running back, and Kansas City's defense shut his ass down.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's kind
Um,
of crazy to see the stats for the Jags. 9 points all from their kicker. I mean,
yeah.
that's
Yeah. I mean, um, the receiving yards, Kirk had 11 for 110. Ingram had 6 for 57. Ridley, man, I don't know what was wrong with that guy. He could not stay in the field of play.
no. He was getting pushed
I
out
I
and
mean,
then come back in.
yeah, there he
But
is. He's got to get himself figured out.
he's
But
got to
yeah,
get
Ridley
situated.
just was having a hell of a time just staying in the field of play. Every time he gets something on a sideline, man, he was 1 foot out or whatever the case may be. So um, it's crazy how that works out. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was happy. There was a couple times where he probably should have had touchdowns and it just didn't happen. But yeah, Calvin Ridley, the one that between Ridley and ETN, those are the two that they talked about the most going into this game, and they just did not. Neither one of them had any major production. And I'll give it to you, man. The Chiefs defense just shut them down. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Our defense is they're playing like monsters right now. And that's a good thing because they're keeping us in the games.
They are
That's
definitely keeping us in these games. Damn it. What did I do there? I'm looking for Karlaftis. How many sacks did he have?
1.5,
One and a
and
half.
so did Jones.
Jones had 1.5. I know that Karlaftis split the one with Dana. Yeah, it was the Dana one. But Karlaftis, man, second year, dude, he is looking like a premier defensive player, period.
Oh yeah.
I am thrilled. He is an Indiana boy, comes from Purdue University, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Hey, welcome there, Chief. Glad you could make it.
Oh yeah, we're here and we're happy.
Good. Good.
All that matters.
Yeah, you might have to do a snip of like 5 seconds.
Oh,
Nah.
it'll be all right. It'll be fine.
A little smoky treat there for a second. I realized you guys were talking. I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, we just been kind of talking over news. We talked to Chubb's things. We talked about
Yeah.
The 15. Well, I only had a few of them, but the 2024 nominees for the Hall of Fame, which included Gannon and Priest and Small Charles. So we talked about that a little bit. So we're just
Nice.
now getting ready to kind of get into this game. We've kind of discussed some of the stats, the defense. Definitely interested to know how much you got to see on Sunday, because I know you were busy.
I got to see 0, but I listened to the entire game.
Right on.
So I mean, I got all the stats, everything that happened. So, and I'll be honest, it made the drive back from Kansas a little faster. So,
Yeah, I bet it did.
I know you guys are talking defense. Are you guys done with defense? I think the defense was stellar, just like everybody said. They're keeping us in these games, and just imagine once we get the offense gelled and the offensive line gelled, we'll be a force that will be probably unstoppable. And we're still waiting for oh my gosh, what's the guy's name to come off his 6-game suspension on the defense.
Yeah,
he ain't even playing. So there's a come week 7, if our offense is gelled and got things together, that defense is going to be really, really good. I mean, Dallas's defense, for example, is playing really well right now. I mean, I think they've only allowed 10 points in 2 games. I could see our defense being potentially that effective.
Absolutely. Yeah, the guy that's on suspension, and I can't think of his name. He's the one that came from San Francisco, correct? He's the guy we picked up in the offseason from San Francisco. And if I remember right, he was a big anchor in the house stout that San Francisco defense was last year.
Oh, we paid him some money. I think it was A, to beef up the defense, and B, in case Chris Jones,
right. Yeah.
held down or didn't play at all.
Right.
Do you guys talk about the Mahomes contract already?
We did. We touched on it a little bit.
Okay.
We didn't really go over the numbers. We just the 52 takes him up to 52 million a year, which now makes him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Take that to the bank.
And how Joe Burrow got his payday and has not produced much of anything, although he didn't really have a horrible week this last weekend. I think Chico said he 2 touchdowns, 230 yards or something like that.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. So, what we didn't go ahead.
They're a slow starting team. Last year they started slow as well. So, don't know if it's a hamstring issue or they're just starting slow again.
I think it's just slow. Like I said, the last couple of years they have started slow. They finished strong, which is when they need to finish strong. We're only 2 games into the season, so this is the way it happens. But it is what it is. I have a strong feeling they're going to be right there in the mix of everything come playoff time. So Burrow get his shit together and start earning that paycheck. And but he's no longer the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And why should he be? Why should he be? No. He wasn't league MVP. He was a Super Bowl MVP. He doesn't deserve to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
I guess say something, but you'd have to probably take it out, so I just won't say it.
I do. Let's move over to Kansas City's offense over the weekend. You I think Chief said it. They need the gel yet. They haven't seemed to really figure it out. We did talk about Pacheco, 12 carries for 70 yards.
Yeah.
It's all amazing to see that dude run. Your boy McKinnon was 1 carry for -2 yards.
I don't know why
I was
we give that.
screaming at the TV at that point. I think there were I can't remember if that was a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1.
I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I remember screaming, why are we handing off to McKinnon when Pacheco is averaging 4 or 5 yards a carry?
Or give it to Clyde, man. I mean, come on. I mean, if I'm the defense and I see him in the backfield, I'm like, oh, we got this.
No worries. We'll be back around. We'll catch him for a loss.
Unless it's play action. Play action, he's great in. I like play action past McKinnon. I just don't like him as a running back.
Oh, drives me nuts.
Small.
So I'm glad you're on my bandwagon finally, Jeremy, and you're yelling at the TV. So
I just think that it was a horrible call from I don't know who's making the calls these days.
Come on, Andy's making them. We know it.
I hope it's not Matt Nagy making these calls because
Colton screaming at you right now. Exactly.
I mean, the offense, gosh, I mean, penalties, was it tackle had to be taken out of the game for 2 consecutive penalties. He is an ex-Jag. Is he trying to give him the game or was he just playing that bad?
Listen,
I think he was playing that bad.
I was yelling at the TV for 2 reasons. Well, 3 reasons. I was yelling, or maybe 4 reasons.
All of them, all the reasons.
Time management. That handoff on a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, whichever it was. The some of the play calling and that I don't know what is the blindside. I call it a blindside tackle or whatever, but
wrong side.
Yeah, the penalties that got us were all his. All of them were his.
Yeah.
And
was he trying to give the game to him just as a, hey man, sorry guys, I left you, but here you go? No,
I
know he wasn't.
No, I don't think he was. He is definitely not. He's definitely not on the same page. And a lot of these stupid false starts and a holding call is a holding call.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get caught every once in a while. They all hold. You mean you look at a game, they all hold, but I would have pulled him way, way earlier than that. But
I'm glad they did. You don't see that too often, even when they get penalized. A coach normally doesn't pull your starting tackle out. They only pulled him out for 1 or 2 plays, enough to calm him down.
Yeah.
But, I'm happy they did that, whoever made that call. But we had 2 perfect drives going, on their side, getting ready to get a field goal or a touchdown, and penalty, kick, punt. I mean, we beat ourselves. Luckily, we won the game, obviously. And let's, give it to the defense, obviously, and somewhat of the offense. But the Jags are not a slacker team.
No.
By any means.
No.
So a win is a win, but we didn't win against, a second-rate team. This was, a playoff team of last year and an up-and-coming team again this year. So, we got 17 points. I think we should have had 14 more.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just due to that, but that's due to the penalties. We got ourselves out of, makeable first downs. And I will give kudos to Tony. He did recover. He only had 1 drop. Thank God. Was it Sky Moore had a touchdown?
Yes.
Sky had
he had a touchdown, and then he had a really, really good what was it? Was that the 54-yard catch and run that he had, I think. I think in the 3rd quarter or whatever, but yeah.
Yep.
It was amazing. It was good to see him. It was good to see both of them out there catching and getting some stuff going on. I will not be upset with Richie James over the muffed punt, because if you watch that, even the slow-mo replay, you can see the ball shadow right in his face. And he just, I mean, he lost it in that sun. That sun was right there. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it
it's
sucks.
a bad way to start.
It is. But I think he's going to be really good back there. And I won't be upset with, with him on that deal, because shit, it does happen. So,
Still put Sky Moore back there on a regular basis, please. Or you will see me screaming at the Yeah, he did great in the Super Bowl on the one time he had to field a punt, but man, don't do it. Just don't do it, please.
It'll all be fine. It'll all be fine.
What was Pat's stats? Sorry, you're scrolling too fast.
No, I was looking. Yeah, he was 29,
305.
Yep.
All right.
What is that? 29 for 41.
I think he threw quite a few bad passes again this game. He needs to dial it in a little more. But he was pushing it, I think, more than he should have, in my opinion, on some of those errant passes. So,
and he said that in his post-game interview too. He was saying that he wasn't on, and he pretty much said what you said. They need to gel. That's all it is. They need to work together and really get this figured out.
Well, if you think about it, with the shortened preseason, 3 games, and not playing your starters as much, week 1 to 4, especially if you're a betting person, you're still in the preseason. And if you're a betting person, you can clean up, usually making a few educated guesses. But I think by week 5 is when I expect to see this team back on track to where they were last year, meaning gelling. I mean,
right.
We won the game, but I want to see these scores back up in the 30s,
right.
And with the defense we have, shit. At least the way they're playing right now, I mean, I like it.
I think we'll see it this week. I think we'll see over 30 this week.
Well, come on, the point spread against the Bears right now sits at 12.5. The money line on Kansas City is negative 700. So if you put like $100, you're gonna make like $1.50 or something, or $1 or something really low. So I think the highest spread is the Cowboy game. I think they're 14.5 favorites, and then the Chiefs are the second highest at 12.5. Again, for betting
Cowboys come from this year. I mean, out of nowhere, they give Zach a bunch of money, and now he's like the superhero down there.
Yeah, but man, their defense is playing lights out, man, and the offense is already playing well. I don't know who they played though. I haven't been paying attention. Who they play? Did they play quality teams or just mediocre?
Who are we talking about?
All right, New York Jets.
Yeah,
so that's a mediocre team at this point. Yeah, they're on the low end because they're missing Rodgers. Who they play last week?
I know this. I just can't think of it.
We'll find it here.
We're all looking at
looking at this
scrolling through that.
They played the Giants.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, 40-0.
So I mean, these are not quality teams in my opinion. They got some harder games coming up, including I think a week 5 matchup, I think against the 49ers, or week 4 or something like that. So that's when we're going to see what Dallas is made of.
I just wonder if the fact that they got rid of Ezekiel Elliott and kind of that mindset that we need to hand it off to him as much as they did, and he wasn't that great of a performer. I just wonder if that was part of the mindset going in for them.
I don't know, because last year Zach threw a lot of interceptions, man. I don't know the exact number, but I remember it being kind of high.
Right.
Or
not Brett Favre high.
No, but Brett Favre can recover from it,
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, think about it. We had 4 turnovers Sunday, or 3 turnovers?
I think it was 3. It was 4.
And we got 1 turnover off the Jags, and we still won. I mean, typically when you have 4 turnovers, you're not winning a game. So
absolutely, yeah.
Kudos to the defense, kudos to the offense for sticking in. And as much as I
Yeah, we lost 2 fumbles. It was 3, so
It was
All
three.
right, so 3 and 1 interception, or just 3?
2 and 1 interception.
Okay, but yeah, I hate to say this, but I love to say it. As much as Chris Jones pissed me off this year, you know,
the
and
guy, the guy's a
still,
baller.
no, but I'm still pissed about it. But he showed up. You know, when he was there, he had 1.5 sacks out of nowhere. You know,
Yep.
I mean, I give him kudos, and like you said, Karlaftis played
Man.
balls out too. You know,
So good to see Furious George out there just doing his thing. And man, the second year he's coming in strong, and hopefully he can stay good and healthy and still be a terror in the backfield. There was, like I said during that Detroit game, that's who I was watching when the defense was playing, and he was constantly in the backfield wreaking havoc. It didn't get a sack every time, or didn't force a fumble or anything like that, but he tore it up.
But I think he did bat down 1 or 2 passes that game. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Game.
And he did again in Jacksonville. He had one bat down.
Yeah,
I believe so.
So I have a question on the offense.
Okay.
Why is Hilaire starting every game, and then Pacheco comes in after? Why isn't Pacheco the starter and Edwards comes in after? Or am I perceiving that wrong?
I don't know. When I went back and rewatched the Detroit game, because that was something we talked about, is that Hilaire was, the first play was a handoff to Hilaire.
Yeah, and I think in this game as well, the first running play was to Hilaire, and then he goes away for like 2 or 3 quarters, and then he comes back for 1 or 2 plays. I don't know what they're doing with Hilaire, to be honest.
I don't either, but I know that when they ran the starting lineup on the TV, Pacheco was considered their starter. So,
I don't get it.
Your guess is as good as mine. To me, a starter is a guy that plays a first down. Offensive or defensively. When they go out for their first run, that's who I think is the starter.
And I could be wrong that that it was Tony in the beginning, but this week. But I know last week for sure it was Hilaire.
Pacheco realized his shoes untied.
I don't know. It's just an observation. It's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're seeing because I've seen it too, and I noticed it when we were at the Detroit game, and that was the first thing that happened. I'm like, why is he starting and not Pacheco? But once again, those coaches are way smarter than we are, so we'll let them.
Most.
Handle it, but Chico, run us over our stat score since we got him up here.
I already went through everything. So
I did horrible.
Yes, you did. So final score was 17-9. Golden Jay had 28-24, Chief 31-17. I had 24-21. We were all pretty spread out. See, it was
so yeah, we know you won.
Yep, I got that one.
Right on.
Mahomes had 305 yards. Golden Jay had 302.
Damn, who's looking close on that one, bitches?
And we were all pretty close if you really think about it.
I was the closest without going over.
That's true.
I don't
Thank you, Bob Barker.
I don't even know if I got a point this week.
You did. You got a couple. Total touchdowns for Mahomes was 3, and actually I think it was 2. So we took that 1 and 1 on there.
Nice.
He
did not have a rushing touchdown.
Nope.
Damn it.
Kelsey did play, so we got those points. Week 2, he's back. Total yards, he had 26 total yards.
Oh.
So I took that one at 64.
That dude was frustrated. Kelsey was frustrated.
Oh
in
yeah,
that game.
he was arguing, pushing people around, and
he had 1 touchdown, and Chief got that point with 1 touchdown.
Nice.
Most yards was actually Sky Moore, but Watson had the second most, so I decided to give you a point on that one since he was up there.
Nice.
Running back with the most yards, you guys both got that with Pacheco. I'd put Hilaire because I figured they'd actually run him a little bit more, but they didn't. Interceptions and sacks, we had 1, or what do we have? Yeah, we had 1 INT and 4 sacks. So, and we did have 1 that was a forced fumble for recovery.
Damn it!
And that was a sack. That was a sack. That was a sack on Lawrence. So, that was everybody got a couple of points there. So, and then they did mention Trevor Lawrence's hair a couple times. We don't know how many, but they did.
They compared Trevor Lawrence's hair with Tommy.
Yeah.
Oh, did they
And
really?
I'm like, Chico, there's one. I heard it. There was one.
So if you want to give Chief the point because he did put one, you can.
I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay.
We'll give him
it's all good.
That's we heard it. We counted that.
We did.
That's charity.
We'll give you an extra point there. So
there you go.
We ended the week with 7 for Golden Jay, 5 and 5 for me and Chief, which means we're all tied up at 10.
Oh, snap.
Golden
Jay needed that win. Golden Jay needed the win for the week.
All right. I'm 1-1. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
The same as the Chiefs.
I think the final score is going to be 31-10. It's a big gap, but I think that they're just going to shut them down and score some points.
I'm going to go higher. 40-9.
I'm gonna go 34.
Come on, man. The spread's 12.5 already, so
34-14. I think that's pretty reasonable. Mahomes total yards
412. Big day for Patty.
I go 380.
You're reading my mind. I was thinking 380. It was like right on the tip of my tongue. I'll go 365.
3,685.
The score's gonna be 4,009.
I think he's gonna have 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
5. This is the breakout game.
I'm also gonna say 4. Yeah.
Okay.
4. Kelsey, total yards.
Kelsey's back, baby. He's gonna have 143 yards.
Wow. 102.
He's back, baby. He had his frustrations.
96. Total touchdowns?
2.
Ditto.
I gotta go 2 also. I think he's gonna who's gonna have the most receiving yards?
Man, I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna go go ahead. You guys pick. Let me think about this a second.
And Travis isn't an option, right?
No, Travis is not an option.
Gotta be receiver. Yeah, receiver.
As much as he really is our wide receiver 1, he's not an option.
I know, that's pretty funny. I'm gonna go this game MBS.
I'm gonna go Tony.
This is the catch 22. It's either gonna be Tony or it's gonna be Sky Moore. Since you're taking Tony, I'll take Sky Moore.
Oh boy,
interceptions and sacks.
Now this is where it gets a little more difficult because Justin Fields is not a pocket passer. So he's not gonna he's not just gonna sit in there. I'm gonna go. He's gonna have we're gonna have 2 interceptions and 1 sack.
All right. 1 interception. I'm gonna go with 3 sacks.
Oh, snap.
Not 1/3.
1/3.
It's staying just like that.
And one forced fumble on that.
Man, I think him coming out, being a mobile quarterback's really gonna actually give us more sacks. So I'm gonna go 3.
3 interceptions.
Or 3 sacks. Let's go 1 interception, 3 sacks. Oh, okay. That's what Phil said.
1/3.
Yep, 1/3. Any specials you want to throw in there? Any players? How many sacks is Chris Jones gonna have?
1.5.
I would say 1.5. I think yeah, I'm gonna say 1.5.
1.5. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a full 2.
Full 2.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go with largest pass play. Most yards.
Oh, longest pass play, I like that.
Yeah.
I believe it'll be a 70-yarder.
Oh,
I think Mahomes is just Jones into unleash
I'm
the
gonna
long ball.
go I'm gonna go
Yeah.
57. And that's because Mahomes likes ketchup.
nice. Um, 54. 54. That was as long this week, so let's keep it about the same.
All right.
Okay.
What else? What else we got? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. That looks like a good little list there. Well, let's talk about this week's game as we did our predictions on what we think that KC's going to do. We are hosting the Chicago Bears, so the Bears are coming into Kansas City.
First time in
Bears.
how long? First time in
I don't know. I
a
was going to ask.
long time.
10 or 12 years.
Right on. I say it's been quite a while. We all know Justin Fields is supposed to be like a superstar quarterback. I personally don't feel that way. I don't really see Fields as a premier quarterback. I don't think he's like horrible or anything. He definitely knows how to throw the ball. I mean, he's not like Tim Tebow where everything looks like a wounded duck when it flies through the air or anything like that. But
Right.
he has no offensive line. The Chicago can't seem to ever get anybody on their offensive line that really is any good. How do you guys feel going into this game? In Arrowhead. Chico?
I mean, pretty confident that our defense is looking so good. I think they're just gonna shut the Bears down, but pretty confident that this is the week that we start putting it together and putting up a lot of points. So I'm happy that I'm gonna be there. To actually watch it. And I'm just excited to be back in Arrowhead. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited to see how we play.
Yeah, so I think this is still the Bears of last year. Sorry, all you Bears fans. I was hoping you'd be better this year, but you're not showing it yet. They've lost quite a few players as well. On injured reserve. They got a new team. It's a rebuilding years. I use plural years. They did spend money this year. I give them credit for that, but I don't, their team's far away from gelling at this point, and Justin Fields is trying to play like Lamar. I don't know if it's because he has to or if that's the way he wants to. I'm not sure, but with the way our defense has played the last 2 weeks, they're going to put a spy on that guy, and I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Offense, I think that we're going to get the most passing yards of the season in this game. Again, the Bears defense isn't that great. Our offensive line, I think, is better than their defensive line. Their cornerbacks and safeties seem to give up a lot of points. So that's the way I see it playing out. Rushing wise, I didn't really look at how the Bears have done against the rush, but I think Pacheco might have over 100 yards as well. Maybe that's another stat we could Pacheco rushing yards.
Yeah.
And
So
I
I'm
think
looking at-
there's going to be I'm going to give you one more thing. The special teams is going to have one big play.
You gonna run one back or just
Just something that's phenomenal. Don't know
Right
what
on.
it'll be. I just got that feeling that,
Bucker's gonna kick a 78-yard field.
So by the way, you're still perfect, right?
Yep.
Still
100%.
100%.
Yep. So
Yeah, take it.
So I am looking over the Bears stats against Tampa Bay. Fields didn't necessarily have a horrible day. He was 16 for 29, 211 yards. Well, he did have 2 INTs. So, is that 6 sacks? Did he have 6 sacks on him? Really?
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a defensive frenzy this week.
Oh my goodness. DJ Moore, 6 receptions for 104 yards. That's the guy that they're going to have to keep. They're going to have to keep a real close eye on.
McDuffie will probably cover him. So,
man, McDuffie was having a hell of a day, like in Jacksonville. He was looking good. But yeah, so I mean, DJ Moore is pretty much their big weapon. So you shut him down, and their leading rusher had 7 carries for 35 yards. I mean, Fields only had he had 4 carries for 3 yards, so they didn't go very far against Tampa Bay. Just saying.
Yeah,
so
I'm thinking, it's going to be a high sack game as long as they got a spy on Fields. The Chiefs. Right. Sometimes, and I don't know what they're thinking. They don't keep a spy on the running quarterbacks, and I don't get it. But I think
you would think that would be Bolton's job. You would think that would be like his single job is, you're in charge of watching where the quarterback's going, especially somebody like Fields.
I'm just saying, typically our defensive scheme doesn't spy on a quarterback. They just let it play out. I don't like that, but whatever. I'm not getting paid the millions to coach the defense, so
yeah,
pay me $100,000 Chiefs and $1 million bonus, and I'll be right there.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if I'd want to put in the hours for $100,000 though.
No, the $1 million signing bonus.
Oh, I thought maybe it was like getting $1 million for every sack that your team gets.
Oh, I'll take that too. Shit.
Yeah, that'd be right downtown, wouldn't it? But no, nice. Listen, you said it and I feel it. I am not a Bears hater.
Mm-mm.
I always wish the Bears the best season.
Which they never have.
They never have. I mean, it's hard to root for them when they suck so bad. And so for all those Bear fans out there, man, believe me, I feel your pain. I know what it's like to be looking down the barrel of a 3-13 season, for sure. So
yep.
Hang in there. If they decide to spend some more money, maybe Chicago will have a team in a couple years. And obviously, I don't see that team coming with Justin Fields in the helm. So that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not pissing off any Bears fans. I just don't think that he is the leader that they need. So
yeah. So from cap space, they spent all their money this year.
Well, good.
They got 8 million left. What's kind of scary though, it's talking about cap space.
I don't even want to talk about cap space.
No, one of the best teams in the NFL has 42 million in cap space. So 49ers. Wow.
And where Chris Jones is going next year.
Potentially, yeah. But I don't know. That was just an interesting thing I just saw. But next year their cap space is 17 million if they keep the same roster.
Well, still gives them a little bit of wiggle room. Well, not the 31 million that he wants, but
yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see. Like I said at the top of the show, the rework of the Mahomes deal almost guarantees that we're not going to go after Chris Jones for next year. I mean, if you look at money wise and what he wants compared to what we got. So, but I could be wrong. They could work out a deal. You never know. You never know what they might do. So, now Jones is on the field and he looked amazing over the weekend, especially for a guy who wasn't in training camp. He looked great. So,
and next year with 35 players under contract, we have 49 million in cap space.
Oh,
no, that's just counting 35 that are under contract. So,
do we need more than that? Really? Come on.
Just saying, that's one of the It's an interesting fact.
Well, you never know. The NFL might raise the cap a little bit too. They tend to kind of make maneuvers like that from time to time.
So this year the cap is 224. In 2024, it's projected to be 256, and that's what this number is based on.
Gotcha.
So that's 30, close to 32 million increase.
Damn, that's a pay raise, isn't it?
Wish. But yeah, I'm not worried about Chris Jones next year. Let's play out this year and we'll talk about it.
Yep, absolutely. He's got his laundry list of incentives to get to this year, and they'll make a choice of what to do with him next year. So, but that's next year. Let's play out this year. We've got him back. Everybody's happy. Well, I don't know if they're happy or not.
Hopefully he stays healthy.
Yeah,
no kidding.
Let's just get another SBW and call it a day.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Super Bowl win, people.
Hopefully our offense gels a little bit better than what they've shown the first couple weeks, and with that defense as strong as what it's looking, we have a couple teams to get through.
Yeah. Hey, Jacksonville was one of them.
Yep.
That's a conference game, so that could come into play later in the season.
Absolutely.
The loss to Detroit, luckily, was non-conference, obviously, but
right.
So,
and it's not like the other powerhouse teams didn't lose in the first week too. So,
hey man, who's 0-2?
Who day?
Bengals.
Who day? Who? Hey, you know who they are?
Who they are? They'd be 0-2.
Joe Burrow and 2.
Yeah, Bills are 1-1, but again, I don't remember who I picked them to win. I just don't remember who they played.
They played the Raiders.
Oh, well, that's why I picked
them. There you go. That's why they won. The Raiders are 0-2, I do believe.
Yep.
I had standings here. What happened to them?
All I know is I lost 2 games last week. Out of the entire pool, so I'm happy.
Oh, the one that we're really gonna eye in on is what the Dolphins are doing. They're an AFC side. They are looking really, really good right now.
So
2-0.
Funny you say that. One of my coworkers who works across the pond, he comes on our team meeting today with a Miami Dolphins hat on. And he's like, I'm just putting this on for you, Phil. I was like, man, why do I have the sudden urge to have a fish sandwich?
I know, right?
It was just kind of funny.
I'm wrong. The Raiders are 1-1. They're not 0-2. The Chargers are 0-2, and the Broncos are 0-2.
Yeah, the Raiders were leading the division until yesterday or Monday or Sunday.
Well,
Monday.
It's odd. They have them above us. I think it's just due to score differential.
Yeah.
So they're playing, I believe, the Steelers this week. The Raiders are, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh. Well, there's a pick. There's a who gives a fuck game to pick, and
well, I tell you what, man, the Steelers defense is looking like the Chiefs defense, keeping them in the game because what is his name? Pickett, I think, is our quarterback.
Yeah. Yep. Second year.
Yeah. Poor guy. I mean, God, he looks like shit, but he makes the play enough and the defense plays hard enough that, they squeaked it out last night. I did not pick them to win last night. I was amazed, but, things happened in that game that, you guys already talked about. So
yeah, that was against Cleveland, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really thought Cleveland was going to be a lot stronger than that, but
well, you lose your main playmaker.
Oh man, that's too bad.
And that injury, I zoomed in on it. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I seen it. It's brutal.
The crowd was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, and you guys probably talked about it, but they didn't even replay it on the. Oh yeah,
I was watching it, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to replay that because that is one of the worst injuries we've ever seen.
I mean, the Joe Theismann when his leg snapped. and you could hear it and just see that.
Yeah.
Poor guy, you know.
Yeah.
I think he'll be back though, Chubb. I think
Oh,
he's
absolutely.
gonna come back for 1 or 2 more years and then call it a career.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't take that same injury and then come back and be as great of a player. I mean, he did that same injury when he was in college, so
Yeah.
and he came back from that. So, all right, well, guys, you guys got anything else you want to talk about, Kansas City wise?
Like
Yeah,
I
the
said,
party castle, baby, Chiefs Kingdom.
I'm excited to go out. Excited to take Coach Rob.
Yep.
So now
Hey,
Coach Rob will be with us next week, correct?
Yes, and yeah, we'll have our first guest of the Indiana
Okay.
Chiefs fan season 2.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss his first actual game in Arrowhead. He's been to Arrowhead. Didn't he take a tour or something?
Took a tour, yeah.
Yeah, but this will be his first game in Arrowhead. So he'll get
he's
to
gonna have a
experience how
blast.
loud it is.
Are you guys tailgating?
I don't know yet. We'll decide
Come
that
on.
here.
Come on. It's his first game ever.
Go find
Yeah.
Carlos.
We could.
Yeah, go hang out. He's always right there.
Right
Just,
in D on the
Yeah, I can text him and say, hey, he might have 2 extra people. He's got so much food there every weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes overload.
I want
And
to get Rob into the pro shop and get some stuff done around the stadium too. So
Don't forget because I was so busy, we didn't go alcohol shopping for Chiefs Super Bowl, and don't forget your Coke 6-pack glasses. Little 6-pack of Cokes to Super Bowl champions.
How did we
And if
totally
they're-
forget about that?
Dude, remember I called you and I'm like, we could have went
Yeah.
anytime Friday, anytime.
It's true.
So, whatever. I think it was just too busy for me, and yeah. That's not going to happen again.
That's good. That's good. All right, guys. Well, let's get out of here. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for talking about the Chiefs with me. You know how much I love to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs.
I forgot to put this on.
What is it? Is that a little mic cover?
Headband?
Oh, man.
Gotta be a headband.
There you go.
All right. No, I'm ready.
Oh, people, go look at this on YouTube.
Oh, it's supposed to take the headphones off
You're
first?
supposed
My
to take the
bad.
headphones off. Yeah.
Just cut that thing out.
You'll learn. It'll be fine.
Hey, you see my headphones.
All right, guys. From our little slice of Chiefs Kingdom right here in the great state of Indiana, I just have one question for you. How about those Chiefs? Later.
Thank you for listening to the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Podbean, any of your favorite podcast sites. Be sure to watch us on YouTube. Just search for the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. Also, check us out on Facebook for any updates on the Chiefs and all of our weekly posts. You can find us at facebook.com/INChiefsFansPod. Finally, go check out our Golden Mojo Entertainment website at goldenmojoent.com. You can find information about your 3 favorite hosts and all the other podcasts in the Golden Mojo Entertainment family. Those podcasts include The Call Guys, Golden Image Podcast, The United States of Paranormal, The Golden 80s Podcast, The Murdnerds, and A Court of Books and Booze. Thank you for tuning in, and how about those Chiefs?